Hey, peeps! Thanks so much for joining me once again on the Lighten Up Project. My name is Malcolm Grissom. I am the stand-up CEO and founder of the World Laughter Organization, and you're not. Today we are going to be on the Lighten Up Project. We are bringing the laughs. We're bringing the laughs because sometimes the best way to understand about life is to joke about it. My guest today, Danny Dechi, he's a comedian who's been performing all around the San Francisco Bay Area and hosting both live and virtual comedy shows that keep audiences laughing wherever they are. He's a staple in the San Francisco comedy scene. He's been doing what he's doing forever, and he is a joy to have around. I really love his wordplay. He does a lot of wordplay, has a lot of puns in his humor. That's what I really love. Danny has also appeared on the Late Late Show with James Corden. I always want to say Corbin, but James Corden. And he's also been on The Gong Show. Proving that his humor works just as well on the national television as it does in comedy clubs. He's known for his sharp wit and his relatable storytelling. Danny also brings a style of comedy that's just equal parts clever, surprising, and mischievous. So get ready. Let's talk comedy, creativity, and joy of making people laugh. Let's lighten up and welcome Danny Dechi.
Hey, hi, Malcolm. Hello, great to be on your show. I'm glad you're doing this, a Lighten Up project. That's a great thing that you're doing. And I remember we performed also comedy when you were in San Francisco. That was always delight to have you on the show, have you our showcase and everything. And and you did also one-man plays there at the Marsh, things like that. And great to be here.
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Danny, would you join me in 20 seconds of spontaneous laughter?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Laugh.
Yes. Woo. Yes. Yes, funny. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Okay. So to use that. Ooh. Wow. So I did it's supposed to use after 20 seconds. Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, yep. Hey, so have you always been into laughing and making other people laugh? Has that always been your thing?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, ever since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Little kid, I have some couple jokes I came up when I was a little kid. Let's see, one was when we went on a field trip to see King Tut, public school, where I went to grammar school, went to see King Tut at the Young Museum actually at the time. And not everybody in the school went. So the next day when we come back, some of the kids asked me, so how was the King Tut exhibition? I said, did you like it? I said, well, I was really disappointed because when I got there, he was dead. As a kid, I said, King Tut was dead. I was disappointed. Yeah, that was a joke. I said, and I was just talking about that the other day. And one other joke was, he's kind of childish. I'm a kid. 8 years old. It was a rainy day. I was eating lunch in the lunchroom in a big auditorium, and when a few tables across, one kid threw up, and I just said, well, maybe he didn't like it. He wanted to return it. So that was my joke as a kid. Yeah, you're in.
Danny, for the people in the audience who have not been able to experience the pleasure of Danny Dechi, I'm wondering, do you have a pencil?
Oh yes, I always have my pencil and my musical instruments that I carry in my violin case. The only instrument that I have. I can play any song. Yeah, well, let me know if you want me to play a song now or...
Yeah, play for us, please.
Okay, this is you might know this song. Okay, here it goes. I think it goes with the theme of the show. Okay, here we go. So yes.
So what actually playing with the pencil, what started that? Because that is something that there's nobody else on the comedy scene in the Bay Area, and any comedy scene that I've seen, actually.
Yeah.
That's more of a vaudeville thing. So what started that for you?
All right. Well, I started, I was out with a kid, again, 8 years old. I was just playing using my fingers as all the other kids like it too. I'm playing for the example of this. So it was a bunch of songs like that. So then one day when I became an adult, and in the office they were playing the radio, they were playing music, and I kind of wanted to play along with that. And somehow I taught myself I can play more songs. It's more songs using a pencil than my fingers. So I kind of taught myself. I would play along, listening to a song, and I taught myself how to hold the pencil, and it just came back to me. It just, as an adult, just after many years, it came back to me, playing music on my cheek again. Like that. So that's how it started. It started as a kid, playing fingers, and then became an adult and popped in my head. It came back to my head again for some reason, and then I started using a pencil.
How wonderful. How wonderful. Are there any other joys that you had as a kid that you've realized again in either now or sometime earlier in adulthood?
Yeah, I do. Let's see. I always like to play sports, and I'm still playing it when I get a chance. I still play sports in my adulthood and play on teams and that stuff. Yeah. And the other thing is mostly the pencil. I chewed gum when I was a kid, but I don't chew gum now. But so that's not one thing. I can't think. Any other thing. Any other thing I did as a kid that I do as an adult. Basically just tell jokes and things like that. And and by the way, thank you, Malcolm. I remember when I first started doing comedy, I would come out with my violin case, my pencil, and I would explain to the crowd. I don't play any other, I have instrument and all that stuff. And he told me, don't explain to them. Just open up the case and take out the pencil, and that's funnier. And I remember that I still do that to this day. When I go up there, I go up there with my violin case, and I go straight with no explanation. Just open up the violin case and take out the pencil, and it's funnier that way. So thanks for that. I've been still doing that for most of my career. So.
Yeah, it is. It's the you have the misdirection and the surprise, and it enhances it. And somehow when you explain it, then it dulls.
Yeah.
It dulls that sensation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, who was the first person in your life who really gave you permission to play and to be yourself?
First person, well, let's see. Well, I guess my cousin, he's a little older than me. He's a, yeah, he's a little older than me, and yeah, now he's an old guy like me, but yeah, being older, I saw him having a little more freedom to do things, so I did that too, just the way he is, and yeah, so I would say that this is my cousin when I was a little kid in Argentina. I was probably 5, 6 years old, and he's I don't know, 5 years older than me or something like that. Yeah, and so anyway, it was just different. He went out and being a kid, and I was yeah, I was being a kid like him, an older kid like him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, let's see, nothing else. Being free, watching cartoons also helped. Being free, and so I love the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, and all that stuff. There was good humor in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't like dumbed down for children or anything. It was for adults and kids. Yeah. And of course, being a kid, you wouldn't get some of the adult humor in it, but it was still funny.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle actually has been one that has said a lot about Bugs Bunny and how he really appreciated the humor that Warner Brothers put into that character.
Yeah,
throughout the years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And yeah, they didn't treat children like dumb little kids or anything like that. And that's how I always relate with kids too. I relate with the kids, and I see special ed and anyway with children that I know. I treat them like I don't dumb down to them. I just talk to them just like I do to an adult, pretty much.
Yeah. Most definitely. That's something I've always appreciated about you, Danny. So in your life now, in what places besides comedy, besides stand-up comedy, in what places in your life now do you give yourself permission to play, and where do you still hold back?
I don't know. Let's see. I get together with my friends. We joke around. We're like teenagers, I guess, and I know for 30 or so years. And yeah, we get together for dinner. Almost like 10 or so of us, and we just play, joke around nonstop. I have fun with my girlfriend also. Yeah, she's got a great sense of humor. She doesn't like going on stage, but they asked her before. Some comedians asked her, "Are you a comedian?" And she goes, "No, she doesn't get on stage." But yeah, just joking around with her and everything like that too.
Where do you still hold back?
Where do I still hold back at work? Yeah, when I work, my different job. Actually, jobs when I was working in my 20s and 30s and stuff, I didn't hold back then. But now for some reason, it depends on the kind of that I worked. Okay, many years ago, I was working at Otis Elevator. I was in Connecticut, and we were all a bunch of kids there. I guess we were joking around. But then I came back to San Francisco and worked at the EPA office building, and they took them a while. They found out later on that I'm a comedian, but I always kept it. I hold it in at work. I pretty much now, since in my older years, and still today, I hold it in at work. That's pretty much it.
So theoretically, I can understand holding it in at work. I guess let's unpack that for a moment. So holding it back at work, what does that look like for you?
I'm professional. I don't know. It's just do my job, and on a rare occasion, there's a funny remark I might make about something. But I guess for some reason I don't want to distract too much at work. I mean, like if I was working when I was working at McDonald's and things like that, let go there. Yeah, just it'd be funny and all that stuff. But I don't know. For some reason, I think I need to not be distracting and funny at my current jobs. And for some reason, because I guess you need to concentrate on the work we're doing and everything. And it's more serious in essence. And depends. Yeah, when I was not holding back when I was working out of elevator, we were a bunch of guys pretty much, and with the drafting table, and we just for some reason we joked around. It was like a bunch of guys at in the locker room or something. It's just like that. So yeah.
So is that let's see. What I'm hearing, and please help me understand if I'm understanding you. What I'm hearing you say is that there's part of you that thinks that the laughter and play is somewhat distracting in a professional
I think so.
Arena. And so okay, because that's what a lot of corporate America, that's what a lot of the American culture and part of the other cultures, they do view the same thing. They view it the same way. Now, but that's very interesting because you were talking about, other places that you work. Now, granted, you were younger, but you were talking about working in, more fast food areas, other jobs like that. And laughter and play was okay there.
Yeah, I was a teenager. I guess being more of a physical kind of place. It was a physical. I mean more. Physically, you work at fast food, you're moving around and stuff like that, and you don't need. I guess I don't know. You don't need to. Yeah, I mean it's not like you're working at a doctor's office or something, but it's different. But the professional place, I was working at the EPA in the HR department, so I had to be professional there and kept look like always joking around there and all that stuff.
So, do you view joking around as unprofessional?
No, actually joke around. As long as you're not like make a joke about everything, I guess. I mean, maybe once in a maybe once in a while make a joke. I don't know, it depends. If you're doing your job, it's okay. But also appearances makes a difference, I guess. If somebody else comes from another department or something, appearances make a difference. And I mean, you can be a class clown, in the HR department, unless everybody else is. Yeah, I guess if I could tell some cute jokes or something, but Yeah, I guess if I would end up being the only one, being the class clown in the office, and I guess that wouldn't work out too long this time.
Mm-hmm.
And
So not only is it not so, it sounds like what you're saying is not only is it the atmosphere, but it's also the number of people that are participating in the humor.
yeah. I mean, they appreciate a joke once in a while, and let's see. But they're all busy. Everybody's very. Also, I guess being a very busy environment, everybody's very busy in the HR department. And I guess that's one of the reasons too. Is they need to concentrate on the work. Like I was saying, it would be distracting. It's like somebody's doing accounting or something like that. I go, hey, did you hear the one about I'm busy here. Or, yeah, they probably wouldn't be in the mood. They probably wouldn't be in the mood to hear, even if it's a very funny joke. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. So primarily when you think of humor, here's what I'm hearing is primarily when you think of humor and when you're answering questions like these, you're thinking of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. All right.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing it might be easier if you work at a meat factory or the auto assembly line. I think it'd be easier to joke around. Actually, I think it would be good. Yeah, everybody's working hard just to relieve some stress. That's the main reason, I guess, people. It's not doing accounting or anything like that, but if it's still kind of physical, assembly line, things like that, the car assembly line, it helps to release some stress because you're sometimes rushed. I guess if you're being rushed at job orders, you're being rushed a lot. I guess it's okay to joke around, to relieve stress.
Danny, how do you define humor?
I define humor. Let's see. Very interesting. Humor. Let's see. Telling jokes is humor. Acting funny is humor. Let's see. That's pretty much acting funny, humor. Also making fun of. For example, commercials. I always say commercials on TV commercials they get the point across better if they use humor. It seems more honest. Even in political comedy, like the late night shows, I think it gets the point across what's actually really happening if you use humor for some reason. It works better that way. It gets the point across better. I mean, because if you're just talking, giving your opinion or something like this, I think humor actually shows you, you're actually showing, you use humor in showing people what is your point is. It's easier to see, I think.
Yeah, you're also being a little more vulnerable with humor because humor, our joke telling is very vulnerable, or it can be very vulnerable, which is why getting started as a stand-up comedian can be, it can be very hard because the beginning comedian tends to fail. They tend to bomb a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not only because of their jokes, but it's also because there are other factors. It's factors that we learn when we're doing comedy, year after year.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's very vulnerable because a lot of your jokes, you're getting up there, especially if you're telling personal jokes, like jokes from your life. but you're getting up there and you're being vulnerable. You're saying, this is what I find funny, and you're sharing that with people. And then when people don't laugh, then, you start pulling back.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that. Speakers do that.
Yeah. Is the first time speaking, or even just speaking,
coaches, they say you should start a speech off with humor. Start it off with a joke.
Oh yeah, they say that. Yeah.
And then the speaker does that and gets a very lukewarm or no reaction at all, and then you can feel the speaker just pulling back a little bit,
Yeah, because sometimes they're, they don't have a good joke. Maybe what they should do is use a joke that they've heard somewhere, a good joke, and maybe that would work. Instead of telling it, because some people are not that, especially the first time, starting off this speech with a joke that they come up with, it may not be that funny. I guess it's doing things, but one was the other thing I was thinking. You asked me about yourself, also something personal about yourself. A lot of comedians they talk about something personal about themselves, but I think if you do it with a joke. For example, I did tell people I was born in Argentina. Okay, that's not funny, right? Yeah, I was born in Argentina, which is a land where the beef is tender and the women are tough. So you just make up something. You make up something about it. It is. So you add to it. And it's if you start doing talk about your personal life and all that stuff, weird things that happen to me, that would be fine. You can lie. I always tell comedians, just go up there and lie. It's fine. You're on stage. That's the only time you should go out and lie.
That's interesting. I was talking with Wendy Liebman about this, about lying, and we were talking about Richard Pryor. And for those of you in the audience who don't know who Richard Pryor is, shame on you.
Yeah.
Really, shame on you. He is one of the biggest icons of contemporary comedy, right? So please go look him up. Richard Pryor.
Yeah, watch him on YouTube.
Yeah. But Richard Pryor once said that a joke, comedy is lying. He called it lying. Same kind of thing. You're stretching the truth. However, see, this is also something that beginning comics don't know yet. They hear that. They hear that it's lying. And so they get up on stage and they tell these stories that are made up that, they aren't true at all. They have no truth in them. And they're not getting any reaction because only the truth is funny.
Okay, that's
interesting,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's that dichotomy, right? The truth is funny, but jokes are telling lies or exaggerating.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's something that you really can only learn when you're on stage and through the experimentation.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to learn to be a comedian is keep going up on stage. You can take lessons or anything. I'm not sure that works very well. Just keep going up on stage and that's how you learn. And it takes a few years.
Do you remember about your first time when you got started doing stand-up?
Yeah.
What was it like? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I like it. It was at the Java source. Yeah, I figure, yeah, from first time starting, I'll just go to this little cafe. It's, I think it started at 10 p.m. or something like that. In my neighborhood, the Java source, a little stage. There was never in the audience. It was, actually the host was Alma. Sometimes it was just her and myself. And sometimes there was just two of us. And she would go on and on and stuff like that. Okay, but my first experience, occasionally we did get an audience, and yeah, I told my jokes. Actually, I came up with a lot of my jokes I used today. It's still there, but I had a good time. I always had a good time. I actually never had a bad time doing stand-up comedy. There's always, yeah, I got laughs. Even though it was my first time starting out, I got laughs. I had some veteran comedians saying that was pretty funny. So I think I started out while doing comedy. My jokes are short and one-liners and clean, always clean, and yeah, and then funny. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing really controversial. I never do anything like that. I just make up stuff. Some of them are real. So I remember here listening to the radio commercial, and he said, "Oh, actually, that part of that actually happens to me." And anyway, it was about going. Okay, so my joke is, this actually does happen to me. It happened to me years ago. It happened a lot. I go into the store. I think you may know this, but I go into the store. Customers come up to me, they ask me questions because they think I work there. It happened to me a lot. So from that, I came up with a joke, and somebody. I added to it saying that the guy came up to me, asked me if I can validate him. He had a parking garage ticket. If I can validate him, and go, yeah, sure, yeah, you're a good person. Everyone likes you, and you smell nice. And that's my joke. I started my joke because I heard a commercial on the radio that just perpetuated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think I got a little bit lost or whatever I was talking about.
No, not at all. Don't apologize. That actually is has your understanding of human nature, or as your understanding of life in general, has it improved or changed? Not improved, but has it changed at all since you've been doing stand-up, since you've been telling jokes about it?
Yeah, I think I learned more. I became more educated about human nature, and I'm actually pretty good. I think a lot of comedians are pretty good at reading people, stuff like that. And yeah, I learned more about human nature. I was always always positive person, and maybe a little bit more negative, but I'm not really that negative. I'm still always positive, but yeah, it's I know bad things can happen, and you can make jokes about that as long as it's not in bad taste, which is I know subjective thing, but I've always been pretty good with that. Even someone that I'm not on their side, and I joke about them, but I'm never really cruel about things, stuff like that. And well, yeah, understand human nature. Yeah.
So I want to touch upon something you said at the very beginning of that, of the statement you just made. Mm-hmm. You said that a lot of comedians are good at reading people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Could you unpack that? What exactly do you mean by that, first of all?
Yeah, let's see. For some reason, let's see if I can explain. It just seems like a lot of comedians, maybe they're paying more attention now they look for material and everything, and in many subjects. So I think a lot of comedians know about more about human nature than the average person, because actually that's what it takes to be a comedian. Also, is you look at things in a different way. Also, being part of comedian, and that's how you. I think that's what helps in understanding human nature instead of somebody, just eating up everything that anybody tells you, being very gullible. It's just like being a comedian, you're looking at things a different way, and you're thinking, this person's probably, I know he's saying this, but I know what he really wants. I think a comedian having the nature of looking at things in different ways as the average person can see that, can find that. Yeah, and I don't know, just funny, but I can just see, I can see either a lot of comedians or act, I can tell that they're more aware of differences in people on this.
Now, if there is someone out there who, a listener who has thought about trying stand-up comedy, or they've thought about becoming a comedian, what would you say to that person?
Yeah, I always tell them to do it. I mean, a lot of people hesitate. They're thinking, they like it, but they've never done it. They like to try it, or they're not sure about trying it. And I always tell them, do it. Just go ahead and do it a few times at least, because then because otherwise you might regret it, and you might not do it ever again. I tell them, you can come on my stage. I have open mics. Come on down. And I tell them all the time, neck of the woods or the Maze Oyster House, when I have it, I just tell them, just come on in my show. I don't hesitate. It could be awful, but it's an open mic. And I tell people, just like anything in life that you might be interested in, they don't think you can do it. I mean, it's comedy. You go up on stage, people they're not going to hurt you. That's pretty much in general. I mean, people understand it's an open mic, so come on down. Yeah, so I had many people just come on down for the first time and on my shows, and they weren't great at first, but just keep doing it, keep coming up. If you really want to try it, keep doing it. Yeah.
So, for the in case there's someone in our audience who is in San Francisco Bay Area, or they will be traveling there and want to look you up and your shows, tell us about your shows and what you actually do there.
And to start this first, it's I probably don't know anything about this person. They can contact me, and I'll say, you're on the show. They come on out. So, you can contact me on, I'm not sure, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and also I have a website, DannyDechi.com, and you can email me, whatever, contact me, and I'll get you on the show.
And then what I also understand is you have virtual. So you not only in-person shows in the Northern Bay Area, but it's also, you have a virtual show. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. It's a Zoom show. It's actually I open it for everybody, but it's mostly the people I know. I got to know during the pandemic, during the Zoom shows, and most of these comedians are from New York area, so Chicago or Toronto, all in San Diego, all over, but mostly New York. I became good friends with them, and just basically, if you want to be in a Zoom show, if you're far away from San Francisco, you can be on my Zoom show. Just contact me. It's a monthly show every last Monday of the month. It starts at 4 p.m. Pacific time because it's 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I accommodate the people in New York, because most of them are in New York. And everybody gets 5 minutes, and just do your thing, and just have fun. Don't need to be a professional. Just do it. And just contact me, and Yeah, I'll let you on with this.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, when have you felt most like yourself?
Uh-huh. When I feel happy on stage. I want to do comedy or like myself. I try to always be myself. I'm always directed always with people, but the more way I'm most happiest, I guess, would be doing on stage in front of a big crowd. And, that's like any comedian appreciates that.
Why do you think you appreciate that?
Oh, because I enjoy being in front of a big crowd and making them laugh. It's comedians also get a lot back from having people laugh at their jokes, laugh with them, and it's a great feeling. That's what comedy is. A lot of comedy is about. Going up in front of a large crowd and having that large crowd all at once laughing at your jokes. It means you're succeeding in comedy. I mean, if they're not laughing, then it's it's not really succeeding. But I was at a punchline recently, a few months ago, and that was fun. I performed there. It was a great crowd. They all cracked up. It was it's a great feeling.
Well,
And you make people laugh, and it's good it gives you a good feeling also. People have, the way the world is, especially nowadays, people just feel bad just watching the news besides their own personal problems. They need to everybody needs to get away to do something, whether it's comedy or go see a comedy show or anything else. I think comedy is it's a quicker adrenaline, quicker good feeling than, and simpler. Easier than anything else. Some people feel great going out playing a game or something, going out doing sports or a movie. That helps too. But I'm glad us comedians feel good helping people feel happy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Danny, I want to thank you so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
On the Lighten Up Project. One last question.
Uh-huh.
Finish this sentence for us.
Okay.
Healing doesn't have to be heavy because...
Healing doesn't have to be heavy because, it's easier. It's easier to heal when it's easier, when it's not heavy.
Healing doesn't have to be heavy because it's easier to heal when it's not heavy.
Yeah, right.
I love it, Danny.
Yeah, it's easier and you can do it more often.
Yes, that is great. That is great. All right. Well, Danny, thank you so much for talking with us again. All of you out there, thank you so much for joining us in this movement. This is really a global movement to explore the power of laughter and play and humor and personal development and healing and hope and resilience and how they all intertwine. And we couldn't do it without you. So keep coming back every week. I really enjoy it. In fact, we're thinking of because there is so much need, so much desire. Some people want to share this experience so much. We're thinking of opening up instead of just once a week. We're thinking maybe even expanding to 2 times a week. And who knows what could happen with that?
Yeah.
It's neat.
Cool.
Right. All right. Well, keep coming back, people. We really appreciate it. And just remember that every smile can open a door. Every heart can every laugh can open a heart, and every step can be your next victory.
Okay, great to be on your show, Malcolm. Keep up the good work. This is great.
Will do. Yep.
Great to see you.
Thanks. Stressed out, stuck, or leading on autopilot? It's not a motivational problem, it's a connection problem. My weekly virtual improv classes boost engagement, collaboration, and retention, all while having fun. Register now for a complimentary month